Welcome to Supply Chain Partners TV and podcast, where we discuss innovative services and strategies delivered by our members at Supply Chain Partners. Our members can help you to build a high-performing business and supply chain. I'm Dr. Sharyn Grant, the founder of Supply Chain Partners. I've worked in the logistics and supply chain management field for over 20 years, and I specialize in strategic supply chain performance management. Let's now introduce you to our member. With us today is Patrick Ingenegeren, the Senior Manager at TT Logistics. TT Logistics provides quality 3PL contract logistics by value adding through TPS, quality, flexibility, visibility, and innovation. 3PL stands for third-party logistics, and TPS stands for Toyota Production System, which we will talk about soon. Welcome, Patrick.
Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today.
Today's episode is about achieving logistics excellence the 3PL Toyota way. Firstly, Patrick, we may have listeners who are not familiar with 3PL. Could you please explain third-party logistics?
Yes, of course, that's fine. Third-party logistics is about outsourcing your logistics processes to a third party. So that's not you and that's not your customer, but another company. And that's where our business, TT Logistics, comes in. For example, we work with customers in retail, FMCG, automotive, and they basically outsource their range of logistics processes to companies like us, TT Logistics. They do this because they're very good at developing new products or manufacturing those items and market them, for example. In other words, supply chain logistics is not their real core business. So that's why they reach out to a third party to run that for them. This could include warehousing, inventory control, and of course, the fulfillment of their final order. So basically all their products come into TT Logistics directly from their suppliers, for example. We manage the inbound, the control, the quality, and so forth. And then we store those products. And then if and when required, we pick, pack, and dispatch their customer orders. So for some of our clients, they also outsource various kitting activities as a value add service to us. So for example, we do assemble luxury cosmetic retail gift kits that you can buy for a friend or a family in the shop. And we basically build those and put them together in our facility. And sometimes we also manage the return process. So if something is not as expected, you can send it back and it will return back to the warehouse, and we process that as well.
Thanks, Patrick. So outsourcing logistics processes like order fulfillment is a key decision for retailers and e-commerce companies. For these companies who haven't outsourced their logistics processes before, they get to a point in their business where they may ask the question, should we outsource our logistics processes? So Patrick, when is the time right for a retailer, omni-channel or e-commerce business to outsource their logistics processes?
Yeah, Sharon, that's actually a great question, because it's sometimes actually quite difficult to answer that. But we can answer it from a different perspective or different angles, because some retailers and e-com businesses, of course, today, outsourcing their logistics was already a part of their business model. I mean, you're already very big or bulky, and you can't handle it yourself. They go straight to an outsource model. So because it was never their plan to manage their own warehouses and fulfillment inside their own business, and which is, by the way, a massive undertaking to do that outside your expertise of your product development or your sales, you need to have an extensive logistic experience and capabilities, obviously. You need a considerable investment in the logistics technology that you might need to process all your products throughout the facility. And you also have to manage a large network of logistics partners locally, and sometimes even globally if you work with them. So outsourcing these processes to TT Logistics, for example, would be very beneficial if you're not in that particular space, because we are, of course, experts in this field. And we already have the logistics capabilities, infrastructure, technology, and logistics network established. So that will be easy. So I think it's very normal and perfectly okay for retailers and e-commerce businesses to prefer to focus on their core business. managing their physical store or their online presence on a website or manufacturing or maintenance their operations. I think that's fine. Another perspective is when an established company is wondering whether to outsource their logistics. When to outsource is possibly, I think, one of the most frequently asked questions that we get from companies that contact us, because when they're already managing their own logistics, it's not only about when to outsource it, but also what to outsource. You can outsource the whole lot or just all small parts of your supply chain, and only, of course, if you're comfortable with doing that. So when clients feel that they are actually outgrowing their capability, they have questions like, is outsourcing more efficient and therefore also cheaper, faster processing time of our orders? So can we offer a better service level? Those are the things that they ask themselves. Sometimes you have to look at the broader picture to actually answer those questions. You can manage some of those processes in-house, and others you want to outsource, like fulfillment or distribution, for example. Whereas there are also companies, of course, that they completely outsource the whole lot, everything, from start to finish, inbound from their supplier, warehousing, pick, pack operation, fulfillment, outbound, and distribution nationally.
Excellent. So what are some of the key factors considered when deciding whether to outsource logistics?
It's very complex, because the complexity of the outbound process makes it very difficult to decide what sort of, which direction you want to go. There could be complexity on your outbound processes, value added. You need some documentation to be picked and packed as well, value add. Things changed, of course, the warehouse space, level of picks, level of storage, the logistics capacity, and I think all of those are basically key factors, for clients to consider before outsourcing. So, as an example, companies can basically outgrow their warehousing facilities, and this maybe prompts them to ask these questions, whether they should outsource logistics or buy a bigger warehouse or lease a bigger facility. But they will always be faced with the same question again in the future, when they outgrow those facilities again. And this facility could be 100 square meters, so they go to 500 square meters, and then they go to 1,000 square meters, and then they go to 5,000 square meters, and they have all the same issue going forward. But these are only small footprints. Imagine you having a 5,000 square meter, a 10,000 square meter warehouse. So it becomes an interesting question. And of course, cost is also a key factor, because buying or leasing bigger warehousing facilities is a significant outlay, and I think Leica requires also some sort of automation to, ultimately increase the supply chain, which ultimately, of course, increase the supply chain cost. These additional costs can reduce profit margins, but also require financial support if you don't have the funds, obviously. And I reckon that this will be recovered in price increases to the customers, or it will make some clients or some companies less competitive, or even risk losing clients. Obviously, not every business, I think, can afford to invest in the logistics infrastructure, and therefore often, outsource their logistics, which I think is a great idea, because we already have this in place, as I said before, and we solve their scalability issue. It's something we can do, and therefore we support them through their business growth stages or decline, and we can scale up in time and space. So time meaning more shifts or more people, space footprint or different storage methodologies. And potentially another key factor in the industry is our industry expertise and product expertise. We have extensive expertise in retail, FMCG, but also in dairy, automotive, energy, solar panels, chemicals, and even electronics. And I reckon that this is, of course, will increase the customer confidence in our capabilities to working with them.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm keen to discuss how TT Logistics helps its customers to achieve logistics excellence the Toyota way, or perhaps I should say the TT Logistics way. Can you please explain how TT Logistics uses the Toyota production system to achieve operational excellence?
Yeah, of course, and close. We actually call it the TTL way. And of course, that's because firstly, TT Logistics parent company, so our parent company is Toyota Tsusho, which is an affiliate of the Toyota Group. Toyota Tsusho is one of the largest Japanese trading houses in the world, and the Toyota Tsusho Group has a revenue of around $80 to $100 billion per annum. So it's only a small company. And because we're a Toyota company, we have Toyota production system in our DNA. And this operational methodology is applied through our business. And it's all about eliminating waste from our processes via Kaizen. And Kaizen is basically Japanese for a small change for the better. In other words, you and I know it as continuous improvement. All our employees participate in our Kaizen or continuous improvement activities every single day. So what I'm trying to say is also that at TT Logistics, it's much more than just a service provider in logistics. We just don't provide the forklift and a warehouse. That is, of course, what we provide, but it's more important how we operate this. So in essence, we provide our clients not with the forklift and a warehouse, but with people, processes, and culture, which absolutely differentiates our business within the industry, if you ask me. And what it actually means is, with people, we ensure that we continuously train, educate, and develop the capabilities of our staff professionally and personally, obviously. Our processes, they basically represent work instructions, the TTL way, and our full TPS rollout. And because of that, the culture is what created. And this is what happens when we as management are not looking. And that's really interesting and really cool. And I can say that this represents a high level of safety and then first on the highest performance of productivity. So our people, processes, and culture enhances the focus on continuous improvement. And as you may know, Sharyn, this will not only result in a cost reduction, but it can also result in a safety improvement and customer service or customer experience improvement, because that's also an improvement. So it's not always about cost down. Every day in the operation, we have daily toolbox meetings. We ask for hazard identification, Kaizens, and other updates to the team, and it's a two-way. So that's something we do every day. We also consistently look for issues and problems in our operation, and our staff on the floor is actually doing the work, are identifying any of those issues straight away, and bang, there's another Kaizen, which is great. And we want to resolve those as soon as possible and get that problem, that issue, waste out of the process out there as soon as possible, because again, it's waste, because if it's waste, it doesn't belong there. And this consistent and continued application of the Toyota Production System methodology, or TPS, results in my opinion in logistics excellence for our customers. And it's, of course, as I said before, based on safety and high level of quality.
Thank you, Patrick. The TTL way is definitely very innovative and a contemporary way to run your 3PL business. Let's now discuss some real-life client examples so that we can gain an appreciation for the challenges that you've helped your clients to overcome through using the TTL way.
Yes, of course, Sharyn. I'll certainly have a couple of examples for you that I can share. And what we as a business have witnessed over the last decade or so, that in the 3PL contract logistics industry, relationships are often, typically transactional and impersonal with customers and prospects. And I think that's where we at TTL are completely different. We have an open and transparent relationship with clients and prospects. And we try to have a deeper understanding of their business and our business, and where that basically matches. So on top of our people, process, and culture, we also designed quality solutions to solve these client issues. And because we are credible in what we do, and as I said, we have and we try to establish a strong and an important, more personal relationship with them. We get along very well, and it works really well. So, and because we're open and transparent, somehow this is a breath of fresh air for them, because in my opinion, it's perfectly normal, but we hear that that's not always the case. So I'm actually quite happy that their experience, again, customer experience is important. And therefore, we take that customer experience very seriously. And I think our personal relationships with our clients is quick and easy, and we communicate. And that's very important. As a result, customers like Aesop, which is an Australian iconic success story, and they are manufacturing of high-end cosmetics, consumer products, and they're obviously very famous for the luxury high-end hand soap, and that's not a Greek fable. And we've been working with them for about 5 years now, and recently we extended the engagement exactly because of that. And when we kicked this off, for them, the how was way more important than the what. And our TPS, our Toyota Production System methodology, our continuous improvement focus, but also our eye for detail on sustainability, ethics, and of course recycling, is why they chose us as their contract logistics service provider, and we're very proud of that. And all of that is reported in KPIs as well. You know what I'm saying? Recycling, sustainability, waste, and so forth. And because we manage their global distribution from Melbourne, they see us actively improving their processes and more. The relationship that we have, the credibility, the expertise, and agility, all of that resulted in of course, another extension of this contract, which we're also again very proud of. And and we continue with our improvements going forward and make everything better and remove all the waste from the process. Another example I can provide is in relation to a relatively new boutique beverage company, Bilson's Beverages. They currently manage their own warehouse and supply chain, but the growth over the last 3 years has been phenomenal, and not to mention the expected sales. It's just crazy. So they need help. And again, an excellent example of how our people, process, and culture came to the rescue, because not only our flexibility and scalability make them choose us, but I also believe that our initial contact and personal relationship and how we basically communicated and started working together definitely sealed the deal in my opinion. So again, customer experience, it's everything. And in this case, because they're a relatively new player in the market, they had to learn from scratch, and I believe that our Toyota Production System methodology, TPS, or continuous improvement mindset, will add significant value to their business going forward. And and we'd love to help them out. We're proud to help local manufacturing out in Australia, obviously. So and this week is their first outbound. And going forward, we'll be able to support their business with their growth and to make sure that their vodka premix drinks and other things that they manufacture hit the market in time and in full. Another example I can give you, Sharyn, is another large retailer, the Reject Shop. They selected TT Logistics to run their 38,000 square meter dedicated site in Melbourne because of our people, process, and culture and the full scala of our TPS. Not just, the people providing. Yeah, sure, you need people to do it, but it is the people, processes, and culture that ultimately TPS focus. And that's why they selected us for their site, for their dedicated facility. And we've been working with them now also for more than 5 years. And we're very proud of that. Again, iconic Australian company. Last but not least, perhaps worth mentioning that in Adelaide, Toyota Tsusho, and us, TT Logistics, we support Electrolux manufacturing. They build the stoves in Adelaide. So if you have an Electrolux stove, it's been Aussie made, yay. And us, or our parent company, Toyota Tsusho, has a global contract with Electrolux to support them with their manufacturing. And we're also very proud to run their warehouse and inbound warehouse just in time into their production in Adelaide. And we do that again on the back of Toyota Production System methodology, Kanban, inbound Kanban changes, and very proud to be working with them as well in Adelaide.
Thanks, Patrick. They're excellent examples, and that gives us a much better idea regarding how TT Logistics operates. There are 3 final areas that I'd like to discuss with you, including your logistics facilities, which are massive, and your technology and your global network. Now, I see you have a short video to play for us, which will give us a tour of TT Logistics capability.
Yes, Sharyn, absolutely. The video will showcase our facilities in Melbourne. We have about 350 to 300 dedicated staff working for us at the moment. Our total warehouse footprint under management is, exceeding 100,000 square meters. We have multiple warehouse locations, multi-user as well as dedicated offices, both in Melbourne and Adelaide.
That's incredible. For our podcast listeners, please use the link I have provided below, and you'll be able to see this video on our website. Let's take a look now. Patrick, what an impressive facility. Could you please now briefly explain your technology?
Yes, Sharyn. Our technology that we currently work with is all RF, hand-free scanning. We have voice pick systems going throughout the facilities as well. We're looking at AGVs from our sister company, Toyota Material Handling. Basically, they're sort of, driverless forklifts going around. So that's what we're looking at as well. At our dedicated site for the reject shop, there is a large sortation system in place where we sort for all the stores, which is fully automated, obviously, and runs basically all day. And on top of that, we have a very high-end WMS warehouse management system, so we can pick and pack and make sure that we process all the fulfillment for our customers in full with no pick errors and so forth. And also the inventory control is managed on that same platform. And I can tell you that our inventory accuracy is 99.999% at this point in time. So we're very proud of that and very happy. The WMS is also integrated with various transport carriers. So we have a platform that actually determines the right carrier for the right price to the right destination. So the system, after the process, basically spits out callouts and manifests. And of course, our customers can therefore instantly track and trace the goods wherever they are. We don't own our own trucks. We work, of course, with the carriers in the market. That allows us to offer our clients a best cost route option, which is another good example of but everybody is not good in every direction. So therefore we have multiple options, and that's really helpful for our clients, and they love that opportunity rather than be stuck with one provider. So yeah, this works really well for us.
Thanks, Patrick. That's excellent. I see that TT Logistics is part of a global network.
Yes, that's correct, Sharyn. We are part of a global network. As I said, we're 100% subsidiary of Toyota Tsusho, which is the Japanese trading house. They basically have 138 locations in 48 countries. Amongst them, a massive focus, of course, in Asia Pacific, North America, but also on Africa.
That's an extensive network. Patrick, what would be the next steps if a client would like to use your quality 3PL contract logistics services?
If someone wants to work with us, of course, I look forward to receiving a phone call. But yes, you can contact us through the website. There is a call to action button there as well. You can send us an email. All the inquiries will be answered by myself. And happy to have that initial discussion about needs and the things that they would like to change in their current supply chain. Because I think if people contact us, they have a problem, and we love solving problems. And if you don't have a problem, that's the biggest problem of all. And resolving those is something we do well in supply chain. And they can, of course, contact us, like I said, through the website or call me direct on my mobile.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Patrick, from TT Logistics Australasia.
Thanks, Sharyn, for having me. It's a pleasure. And, because we're a relatively small company in the scheme of things, I think with all our iconic Australian customers, we possibly Australia's best kept secret. And, we provide a personalized service to clients and prospects. And we, as I said, we take a lot of pride in this, and we find customer experience very important.
Thanks, Patrick. Well, that concludes today's episode on achieving logistics excellence in 3PL, the TTL way, with TT Logistics. You will find all of their contact details listed below. So join us again at Supply Chain Partners TV and podcast, where we meet with experts from across Australia to discuss key business and supply chain issues, topics and trends, including logistics, supply chain management, technology, and much more. Be sure to click the subscribe button to this Supply Chain Partners channel. We look forward to you joining us again in a future episode.